Look at this. One of our biggest challenges at Anker has been to give people access to Anker while at the same time making sure that they understand what to do inside of Anker. We've done some tweaks and changes to the product that is going to hopefully solve that. And I want to show you how far we've gotten on that today. So first of all, on ankerdb.com, our website today, the yellow buttons are really interesting because they are your path to a free trial of Anker. Click on any of the yellow buttons here. You'll come to a form, fill out the form, and then once you have the login details, log into your first Anker project. And the first thing you're going to see is a sample project of 12 files, 11 IFC files, and 1 Excel spreadsheet. Let's go into that sample project and see what's there. There's a front page, a dashboard with some information. Let's move on. That's not so interesting right now. We go to the files. This is actually where you see that the files have been loaded once I created this sample project an hour ago, 11 IFC files. And inside of all these IFC files that are different disciplines and different elements, types, and so on one project, there's a bunch of elements and properties. Elements and properties is what we work with at Anker. And then you're going to continue by looking at them, these elements and properties inside the tables. So we've created 11. 11 seems to be the magic number. 11 tables that show you different things. There's one table that shows you all the elements. And remember, there's both instances and types in an IFC file. So we have building stories, and then you have stuff like doors that filters based on IFC entity and so on. So use these tables to understand how you work with columns and rows and data sets. So Anker is a project information model instead of a building information. We import building information models, but we create a project information model. And tables is a great way to look at and inspect all the data and actually extract. You can extract a live feed of data and quantities outside of Anker using our API connections. Hui. Next up, populations. We've created 5 population cards for you to look at to understand how to work with populations. This simple one, it looks at walls, it looks at interior walls, and it looks at non-load-bearing walls, and it applies a code and a description. This is a sample Norwegian description, but both those two parameters or properties are being written to all the elements across all the files based on these criteria. Have a look at these other different population cards and then use them to understand how to work with population, to create data using Anker. And then once you've done that, you can move on to our 4 different validation cards that we've set up for you, 2 actually containing sub-validations. So sub-validations is kind of like self-explanatory. They're like micro validations that live inside a master validation. Why would you do that? Yeah, you would do that because you have different filters in different validations, but using a master validation, you can actually aggregate all the results and then stream that out to Power BI dashboards or share it with your team or whatever, or work with it interactively in this dashboard inside of Anker. So we have more complex ones with the sub-validations, and we have simple validations that don't have sub-validations, but all of them contain different filters and rules that you can use to learn how to work with filters and rules, both for population and validation. And in the end, we've set up one sample automation routine for you. So this is going to check on any of the files that are being imported into Anker, and it's going to trigger all those population rules and then validate everything at the end. If you're in the mood for it, and this can be maybe a little bit of a higher threshold to understand relationships, which is probably the functionality we have inside of Anker that is more complex and difficult to understand, but it's a great way to populate dynamic data sets like IFC files and Revit files based on static data sets, which is Excel spreadsheets or room data sheets or CSV, whatever. So this is a sample. I hope this will make it much easier for people to understand what to do in Anker. We are thinking about creating a data set based on Revit, maybe from a common data environment, maybe Autodesk Construction Cloud, or maybe something else. But I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this is going to be useful for you. Go and create that free trial account and start playing around with becoming a BIM data god today, and good luck. Thank you.